And that's another funny offshoot. I was just thinking about like how there's all these games of the old wars and old battles. And like I say, believe it or not, there should be, like I say, after every investigation, every field commander, every troop, there were all kinds of reports going over going over what happened at the battle, where the battle happened, because I was trying to find these killers. There's these battles happening and stuff happening inside of my civilization, as you can tell. And plus, there was also like I guess you could call them drug lords or just lords, basically, that had guns or whatever, and had gone off into some place and then were causing problems. Like I say, there were people that were using women as sex slaves, and like there were reports from villagers or people saying that they could hear women screaming at night or men screaming at night. And of course, as a leader or who I was like, well, let's go find those people. Just follow the screams. I think I told one commander, I said, just follow the screams. When you get to the source, find out who's doing it and kill them. So there were a lot of things. I mean, there were train tracks that were built, and then two leaders would go on the trains, and they would go and talk across, and then like one side like blasted the other side, and in like a trap or something. And then there was like the box things where they were like the leader of France and the leader of America came out, and they would talk. And that's kind of how the horse carriage and horse cart got started too. Is that they would go, the horse cart would ride out, and the person would be perfectly safe. And just time and space and different things that humanity had to go through. And I was like, oh, these people need to work it out. Deals that went bad where it's like, oh, I'm not going to give you these people, or I'm going to give you this gold, or stuff like that. And being the leader and creator and the person, and just owning a nation, just naming a nation, made me like, well, I named a country, so, and technically I owned a country, so as Lucifer and as owner of a country or leader of a country or namer of a country, I still had to weigh in and make decisions on this stuff. So anyway, so as far as the games, there are aerial photos, like I said, even Napoleon, any kind of troop engagement or any kind of fighting, because there were also aerial. I had paid pilots. I had pilots flying over countries, basically looking down, looking for blasts of powder, of explosives. See, is there a gunfire going on down there and stuff like that. It's kind of weird, but there should be hundreds. They're probably dust by now because they're written on paper, and a lot of people said the paper won't last. Like I said, when the Constitution was being made, I was like, well, how about we use paper? And my experts said, no, paper won't last that long. You need something like skin or metal or something like that. And I was going to have an etched or steel copy of it, and there was actually probably one etched and done in steel, or not steel, but I mean brass or something. But there was a problem of authenticity because it doesn't really, you can't compare the calligraphy handwriting. So it had to be the animal skin. It had to be like this, so you could compare notes to say that that person did, that is a legitimate, genuine document, and also being able to do carbon dating. So a lot of things happened, and they weren't by accident. They were all completely on purpose. The way the Declaration of Independence was made, the Constitution, everything, it was all absolutely perfectly intentional. So, anyway, yeah. And what was I going with this? What was I talking about? Anyway, though, but there's hundreds of field reports, and also like I also asked soldiers over the years to like write down what they saw or what they knew the battle to be, or the battle from their account. So those were the survivors, of course, and even sometimes I even got reporters in to try and find out what had happened at the battle, because, like I say, also is that some of the troops were being attacked, and it's like, who's attacking them? Was it Germans? Because the Germans are supposed to be our friends. Was it Russians? What color were the uniforms? Were they wearing uniforms? So a lot of these questions actually came about over the years. Like I say, I was in time and space, and when the fighting first happened, when things first started, when the wars first started, I was very quick to make orders to be like, what's going on? How is this happening? Who's doing this? And that's kind of one of those things that it's kind of like the photographs of all the battle engagements. You can't go back and redo it. The only thing you can do is get a film crew in there to take a picture of a battle to see the dead bodies. And sometimes all it was just pictures of dead bodies. So anyway, yeah, getting everything documented, paying for that, directing groups to that's something that's priceless. I ordered it, in time and space when I was back there. As it was happening, I was shooting off orders and stuff. And it was just... And now where we are is very much the future or not there. So it's kind of funny because those were my orders to do all that stuff, and now you have things like sketches of battles or sketches of towns, and are basically just going through my decisions and my groups that I ordered. So kind of funny, kind of weird, kind of strange, I know. But yeah, I mean, what can I say? So a lot of people are like, what? Really? It's like, yep. Really. I named a country and a lot of things happened. And now I'm here. I was also a great inventor. Invented a lot of steam engines, invented tanks, invented things like the Titanic, a lot of different things. Yeah, I mean, it's so much. It's like, all the decisions. Can you imagine the amount of decisions I had to make? I had to do, like, never ending. I mean, it would take lifetimes for me to go back through and try and rethink and recreate. And it's like, yeah, there's thousands of decisions I was just one after another making. Like, okay, and this situation, and this situation, and this situation. And it's like, okay. I guess we'll do it like this. It's like, I mean, when I was an AI or a computer, it was like, done. But as a person, it was like, oh, my head hurts. And then other problems like Kennedy and stuff like that, where they have this idea, and it's like, well, I mean, even Hitler was basically, a lot of the negotiations, like, I was kind of doing my thing too. I mean, they were just underneath me. Like I say, all the militaries started. I started the militaries, or the militia. It started out as a religious thing, as a thing because of me, and then it goes into militaries and the American military and other militaries, and gets. I tried to be neutral. I tried to be on one side, and it just didn't quite work out. I mean, I had to. It came down to that point where people are like, well, it decides the future. If I was a rapist, maybe rape would be, or if I wanted to treat women that way, maybe that's the way women would be treated. But it wasn't the way I wanted to be, so it's not accepted in society. Like, it's kind of weird to think that how I felt actually was so like, just like a ship cutting through a wave. I was this way, and I was an inventor, and I had the inventions and the technology. And I was real. So, sometimes even now, like, as a person, I sit here and go, it's crazy. It is. But I guess it's like being a superstar or a movie star. You are, and it just happens, and your decisions change people's lives forever. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I get freaked out sometimes too. Just going, because it's like, I mean, yeah, never made a big deal out of it, really. But I suppose it is. Anyway. And it got me into a lot of trouble as well, because I found myself going up against people. And then people start thinking, I don't know, it's just, yeah.